Clipper star Patrick Beverley tweeted his own take on King James' power in the NBA. Hoopers, say what y'all want. If King James said he's hooping, we're all hooping. Not personal, only business. We welcome back Jay Williams here with us. Stephen A., I'll start with you. How much power should LeBron have in all of this ultimately?
Well, he should have significant power because he's a smart brother and he's doing good things. And I got to be very careful because I got to confess to all of y'all, I'm getting really, really pissed off, because there are people that text and you tweet and they say stuff and you hear what you want to hear. And it really disturbs me. I have no problem being accountable for what I say and what I mean. Just don't misconstrue and misinterpret it on purpose to suit your own purposes. It really rakes my nerves. Let me be very, very clear. LeBron James is the one person out there that has engaged in stuff that is really trying to address issues. He's talking about the importance of getting out the vote. We can't sit up here, for example, and I'm not getting political, but we can't sit up here as a race of people, as a society, as a community, complaining about everything from police brutality to appointments on the Supreme Court to legislation that's trying to be pushed through by the Department of Justice and beyond. We can't do all of these things and ignore the power of the vote at the same time. I have friends that laugh at me all the time, especially some of them who are conservatives, because I'm not one, but they are. And they laugh all the time. They say a whole bunch of people on the liberal side, Max, they say this to me. A whole bunch of people go out there to protest. They speak out. They are adamant about their positions, et cetera, et cetera. We don't say anything. We just show up and vote. That's what we do. So how do you combat that? You got to show up to the polls. What is LeBron James talking about? He's talking about taking you behind in the polls. He's not telling you who to vote for, even though we know who he's going to vote for. But he didn't say that because he doesn't want to give the opposite side an excuse to accuse him of trying to politicize something. He's talking about empowering people to vote. Now, why would that be the case? Could it be because when Barack Obama was the president of the United States and then he was leaving office, 2 million plus less black people showed up to the polls to vote for Hillary Clinton? Could that be a reason? I think that could be a reason. That's a very justifiable reason. Those are the kind of things that he's talking about. So if LeBron James is talking about those kind of things, and he's talking about taking action, showing up in Tulsa on Juneteenth, making sure to address the concerns of a impoverished and disenfranchised community, and making sure that that resonates and reverberates on a national scale to help uplift and empower all of us so the change that we say we want to make, we can actually facilitate doing it. I'm sorry, that's a plan. And that's not something to go off about LeBron James, Adam Medelson, Rich Paul, Maverick Carter, Randy Mims, and the crew. We should applaud these brothers. We should be able to support. We should be willing to support them. We should be willing to fight for them at every damn turn because they ain't just talking. They're doing. Jalen Rose, let's bring that name into it. Let's applaud that brother. You know what I'm saying? You see what he's doing in Detroit? He's putting his efforts where his mouth is. He ain't just talking, he's doing. What about Russell Westbrook? He's showing up. This dude and what he's trying to do with his docuseries that he's going to put forth about the Tulsa riots from 1921 and the residual impact that it has had. These kind of brothers right here, they ain't just talking. They're doing. They're not just protesting. They're acting. And more importantly, they're bringing attention and a profile and illuminating light where it belongs, so then you can take it and give it to the people who are really aware of what to do with it, with the power, the influence, and the connections to make it happen. Athletes can make the noise. We can make the noise. We can all assist in bringing attention to it. But ultimately, you got to give it and you got to hand off the baton. There's more than one way to do it. Everything ain't about protesting. There are some people that can protest. There's some people that come on the air that's protest. And there's some people in the legal profession that can march up on Capitol Hill with the support buffered by those athletes to make change. That's what LeBron James is doing. I stand behind him 1,000%. And I respect my brother Anthony Davis because I love him. But this ain't the time to talk about what LeBron ain't doing, when LeBron right now may be doing more than anybody.
Well, first, I just want to say something quickly before I address LeBron. There's a myth that black people don't vote, when in fact it's just purely myth based in ugly racial stereotypes. Black people are a very stable voting bloc compared to any other kind of voting bloc you want to name.
But not last election.
But there's been a perpetuation of a myth that they're not, when in fact what we see is your conservative friends. And by the way, that overlaps with political affiliation because conservative, a maintaining of the status quo, does not affect black people. They're likely to be on the other side, given the history of things. And so the idea that they don't isn't right. Your conservative friends who are laughing, we just show up to vote, must be easy where they live. See what just happened in Georgia? A lot of voter suppression tactics, keeping black people largely on very, very, very long lines and sometimes unable to cast their ballots. So that's the first thing. I just want to say that, Stephen A. I know you're not claiming otherwise. I'm talking to your friends, apparently, who make those kind of comments. LeBron's power is justified, and he should have a lot of it. Number one, he's been the best player in the world for a long time. Arguably, he still is, though I would argue against it, but we'll see in these playoffs if they happen. But he was the best player in the world for a long time, and by far, that was the guy. And then he got in the middle of everything. He put his name out there. Yes, the era is more conducive to him doing that than it was, say, in Jordan's day, but partially that's because the best player in the world, it's a feedback loop. Partially because the best player in the world seems fearless in terms of social issues. By the way, and put his money where his mouth is, Stephen A., last I checked, his school that he opened, kids were reading, this was from last year, a couple grades above grade level, I believe. But anyway, the test scores were really good. So yeah, man's opening schools and stuff. Yeah, LeBron has earned that right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.